Hello, everybody, and welcome to session number 19 of the Athenaeum Tabletop campaign. We are back with our players, and we're going to jump right into the warm-up question. This is a warm-up question that I tend to save until a bit later, nearer to the end of the campaign, but since we're kind of in the sandboxy endgame at the moment, I figured I can ask it a little bit earlier this time. And that is, think about where your character was in session 0, and think about where your character is now, and just explain to us how you believe that your character has grown and changed and evolved throughout the course of the campaign.
Probably biggest thing is learning, like Black Powder having learned that he can trust other people and that he has the potential to be good. Like he's no longer stuck in a place where it's dog eat dog, cutthroat kind of lifestyle, and he's able to be a bit more free and open with things like affection and tenderness and caring. So he's not nearly as trapped in a lifestyle and a cycle that he was in the beginning.
So I think for Sam, he started out very pragmatic. I think now there's more questions than answers. So he's like uber focused on bigger mystery stuff. So it's like scale for him has really grown with having a mundane background and everything. Now he's seen magic, he's seen supernatural, he's seen science fiction. So he's just like more questioning everything. So very different headspace.
Star started off more or less like knowing that real dangers are out there, but to witness them firsthand, and knowing and learning that it's okay not to be okay because everyone can't be happy all the time. So Star learned that it's okay to feel what you're feeling and to not bottle everything up. So, yeah.
So for Tori, initially at the beginning, I think a lot of the decisions she made were very selfish and quick. She really didn't think things through. And after spending some time and, making some decisions that ultimately led her to her demise, she's really been a little bit more careful and took a step back and started thinking about every decision she's making and the potential consequences that may lead from that now, especially with some of these final decisions that are coming up. She's being very careful, which is not something she would have done in the beginning.
So for Frankie, it's interesting because from the beginning, I had a plan for Frankie with each and every one of you. And I wanted Frankie to learn from every character in the campaign. And he did, from Tori, he learned it's not always about protecting everybody else. And there was just that reminder of like, oh, this is like Victor, I have to protect Tori, blah, blah, blah. But in reality, it's like, like Tori can protect herself. This is how it is. From Star, it was like, be more carefree, but still balanced. From Black Powder, learn a little bit of the dark side, learn how to maneuver the dark elements of things. And from Sam, it's like, think more. You're not super smart, but at least observe, learn from your surroundings. And I think Frankie has evolved from being very like two-dimensional, how he was written, the sci-fi punch everything protector type, to now is like, I can be a little bit more versatile, because that's how I've learned from my newfound family. So I think that's how Frankie has really learned, and yeah, really happy about that.
When you first saw Stu, I don't think she was one-dimensional, but when I had first created her, I purposely didn't make her backstory super deep, other than she's essentially a different flavor of Sailor Moon. She wants to balance her school life with her duties as a flavor senshi, and was just kind of going through the motions, and she thought everything, that's just the way what she had to do, and it was fine. This is fine kind of mindset. Knowing what I know a little bit more now through the course of the character, because it was more of a evolution of her backstory is what I experienced, because I was kind of just role playing her with your characters until I was forced to come up with something, and I realized that there was that whole thing with her parents and how the parents didn't really want her to be a culinary expert. They wanted her to do something else with her life. So once I realized that, I think her actual evolution was just coming to terms as to who she actually was and what she wanted to be, which sort of plays off of this other side of her, which is Veed. And I think initially she found Veed to be a curse, but now if you were to ask her if to be cured of this, so Veed is no longer part of their life, I don't think she wants that. I think that she has felt like, even though she wasn't like born with Veed as part of her life, he's become part of his life, just like all of 5 of you, at 6 of you, I'm sorry, including Lanik obviously, have become a part of her life. And yeah, she's gone through hardships and pain and guilt, especially with Tori, because you all became a part of her life, just like Veed did, but she wouldn't trade that for the world. So I think that now that she's found love, now that she's gotten her confidence again with cooking, it really has been sort of a coming of age thing for her, where you naturally will, grow up. And I think she now sees something beyond the superhero complex and has accepted that maybe, she understands that saving the world is important, but she doesn't have to do it alone. And she can find ways to just live her life, which I don't think she thought was even a possibility before. So let's jump back in. So you had just left Gourmet City and are back in the library once again. Is anybody hungry? I'm thinking of cooking something. People are raising their hands.
Yes, I'm starving. Just go easy on the salt a little.
Now, don't expect anything like super complex grilled cheese sandwiches. I think I can pull off a grilled cheese sandwich.
Yes.
Yes.
With pepperonis.
If you want me to risk that, sure. If you want me to risk that, sure.
A little bit of salt is okay. Just
Okay.
a little bit.
Stars, it's going to say to Frankie, are you sure? With his hands glowing, are you sure you don't want a quick fixer-upper?
Well, I mean, if you insist, I'm okay.
Okay. And then Star's going to be like, and just touch your arm and go, men. And then after Star heals Frankie, Star's going to be like, hey, Sue, I want to help you. Not like to get in the way, but to assist.
Oh, that'd be wonderful, she says. I was looking for pepperoni in the pantry, and look what I found, she says. And it's a meat grinder.
Yes! I support this!
Black powder just.
Frankie checks his phone.
Oh, right. Oh my goodness.
The unfortunate thing is I don't think you get meat grinder service here. I don't think it'll say disconnected from the cloud is probably what it'll say.
Aww.
Darn it!
Yeah,
Oh my
you
God.
watch him delete the app.
As you're doing that, Sue says, oh, don't worry, Frankie. You're always welcome to visit Gourmet City whenever you'd like. Frankie's like, on second thought.
Right?
Just puts the phone away.
Right?
Maybe like, I don't know, like a summer You can get like a summer home with Victor. It's like, hey, you wanna
Mm-hmm.
I'm putting that phone away
do some meat shopping?
before it gets too tempting.
Bill just looks at Frankie. You were on that thing a lot. What were you looking at?
A lot of pepperoni.
All right.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna go get a drink.
Sue's going to make grilled cheese sandwiches. I think she's trying to keep it super simple. Yeah, she's gonna put some pepperoni in Frankie's, but it's Kraft singles and toasted bread with butter, and she actually managed to not burn the vast majority. The vast majority of them are not burned, and actually a bunch of them are really well toasted, and it's okay because the burnt ones just kind of knew to just leave to the side and serve the better ones. Even though she probably used up way more bread than a normal person would use up bread to make grilled cheese sandwiches. But if you bite into them, yeah, I mean, not bad. It's not too salty, and the cheese is warm and gooey, and, it's not bad.
Star is going to be munching down and say, "Oh, Sue, you're so good. I can't wait for your restaurant. And if you need a lawyer, I have someone." And Star's continuing to munch away.
Do you? A lawyer?
Yes, for accidents, fires, protecting your assets. Just hint, hint, nudge, nudge, just saying.
Well, if they're willing to travel all the way to Gourmet City, I would welcome that.
I think I can pull a few strings.
What's their jurisdiction? Would they have jurisdiction there?
Well, technically he is an entertainment lawyer, but he does have a wide range of things he's helped with me and Stormy in the past, keeping our marriage a secret, and a lot of other things, a lot of other legal details, especially, given the circumstances within Gourmet City. Every week there's a new monster. You have to make sure you have, insurance and all that kind of fun stuff available to you. So, again, protecting you and your asset. Just saying.
We'll talk.
Star looks all excited. And Star is going to look toward Black Powder, Sam, and Tori and be like, "So, what's the story, Morning Glory?"
What's the story, BP Tori?
Yes!
So, where are we going after this?
Well, if nobody minds, I'd like to really get back to my spot just for a bit, because I've got to get to court and, face the music. And I definitely want to get that taken care of as quick as possible.
Well, Star was just telling me that he knows a lawyer himself. So, since we were talking about him crossing over to my side of things, why doesn't he cross over to yours?
This is true. Well, Sam, you did say you needed representation, and Star's eyes will go purple, and Amethyst will say, "And I am here to be of service, my friend. So, how may we be of service to you?"
Well, I'm definitely not great to be talking, much in front of a judge or anything, but I would really appreciate if you would take that task on for me and utilize everybody for their input and just plead the case to try to keep me out of the who's gal.
Star will cock an eyebrow. Who's gal?
Yeah, the clink. The jail. I don't want to go to jail.
Gotcha.
But I gotta face the music.
Well, we're happy to help, but question. Last time we were there, I was kind of a ghost. So I don't know how much I can actually help you here, Sam, unless things are going bad. I could always try to possess the prosecution.
it could come to that, but I think worst case scenario, I mean, in my world, there's not the same level of strangeness, let's say. Definitely strange, but not the same level.
Mhm.
I thought maybe if, we needed some people to speak on my behalf, just that there's some worse things out there than me. I mean, you saw in Joey's area that there was lots of gambling, laundering money, illegal booze, which I would never condone. Maybe you could speak on that aspect of it, if it needs to come up.
I had a question for you, Sam.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think the main goal is to keep you out of prison, but in your opinion, what's more important, keeping you out of prison or telling the truth?
Well, there's, regardless of whether or not I get found innocent or guilty. I mean, I'm guilty for what I'll be accused of, for sure. My big goal is I want to stand my trial, and if I have to go to the Hoosgow, then maybe some type of explosion will have to happen, and we'll have to skedaddle.
I can help with that. And you see Frankie eating all of the, even the burnt grilled cheese. He has a whole plate full of them. Those that people didn't want, he's just eating those too. Like, if you need a distraction or some sort of big boom, you can count on me.
From my pocket, I'm going to
Distractions.
pull out the grenade, and I'm going to slide it across the table right to Frankie and say,
Yep.
that's what I'm counting on.
He takes it.
Maybe we'll see our friend again pop out.
Hopefully with clothing.
Please.
He may surprise us.
Question out of character. We have a lot. Well, we're in a library, but is there like a book on anything, like a lawyer book? Or
Yeah.
laws?
I was gonna ask that because, Hot Star, do you know the laws of the land?
Oh, no.
I need one of those for dummy guys.
Yeah. Actually, there is a bookcase in the living room area, which is north of this room, where the fireplace is. So yeah, anyone who gets close to the bookshelf, it'll conveniently turn into a bunch of books from your world, and virtually any book that exists from your world that you would have easy access to, like while you're at that world, would be able to appear on that shelf, as long as it was approached by the appropriate person. So Sam would have to approach said book, pull out that book, and hand it over to Star, and Star can read it, if that makes sense.
Makes perfect sense. Afterwards, Star will say, Sam, I don't really know the laws of your world. I'm familiar with mine. And if I'm going to be your representation, I need to understand all of the rules and ins and outs. So you want to accompany me to the bookshelf? Maybe I can, brush up on some things?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll walk with you there and get, like 2 or 3 books about what the laws are, what the defense lawyer, and then also one for how the court system works, and hand them all to you.
As somebody who isn't super savvy with how the law works, I did some very light, high-level Google searching, and so at least from a federal point of view, tampering with evidence is illegal under both federal and state law. The crime involves altering, destroying, or concealing physical evidence with the intent to affect the outcome of a criminal investigation or a court proceeding. So, a person that commits this crime means that in order to be guilty, you have to have tampered with evidence that he or she knowingly alters, conceals, falsifies, or destroys any record, document, or tangible object with the intent to interfere with an investigation, possible investigation, or other proceedings. the common defenses of tampering with evidence is lack of knowledge. So an individual who can show that he or she lacked knowledge that a damaged or destroyed piece of evidence was in fact evidence will be acquitted. I don't think it falls under this particular circumstance, but just letting you know that. And the other defense is lack of intent. Everyone, even one who destroys or alters a piece of evidence but did not intend to interfere with an investigation or proceeding, has not tampered with evidence. Now, because of the nature of the campaign, I don't have to go exactly like by the book as to how this would have played out in the 1920s in real life. So if anyone, and all of you who've like studied law, like just try to be a little bit casual about how we go about this, because
It's a game.
It's a game. None of us are super experts, so we're just going to do whatever we think is dramatically interesting that'll serve the story. So because of what we talked about earlier in character, I'm going to say that the book says that if you can sort of, if it is apparent that this person is guilty of this crime, then one of the best things you can do is do like bring up character witnesses. And especially because his intent was not necessarily to like interfere with the investigation, quite the opposite. Like he actually was trying to help with the investigation, and he thought that the investigation would have been better solved with him doing what he did. So if you can go from that angle and then like emphasize that or bolster that claim with character witnesses, you may have the charges, if not dropped, most likely they're not going to be dropped unless you do super well, but maybe reduced. Because a person who is convicted of this crime under federal law at least, may face a prison sentence of not more than 20 years, a fine, or both.
Okay.
State penalties do vary. Some states make any tampering with evidence a felony offense. Other states make it a felony to tamper with a felony investigation or case, and a misdemeanor to tamper with less serious cases. Now, this is a murder, so it's probably not less serious of a case, but...
So we are literally going to legally blonde this. We're going to legally blonde our way through this. Or in Star's case, legally pink. Okay.
It's Rhea, baby.
Look. So I have a point. Well, then make it. So I'm just trying to take little notes for how I can best help him. Now out of character, I've been watching a certain trial that's happening now, as well as Legally Blonde.
Vote for Star.
Vote for Star.
Oh my god. I can't wait. This is going to be a dumpster fire. Like Sam.
Sorry, Sam.
That's why I made sure Frankie had the grenade.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Oh dear.
Definitely gonna have to use that.
You will take the bookmark and drop it into the fountain in the middle of the main room, and once again you will all be transported back to Sam's world. Once again you will end up in black and white with your 1920s garb. And once again you are at the police station where you last left the world. Actually, yeah, everyone roll me a D100.
Oh,
Everyone roll me a D100. So here's the fun thing. When you all appear, because you basically appear right in front of Sam's jail cell, or at least was his jail cell, several months ago. But both Tori and Star are behind the bars, and everybody else is outside of the jail cell. Just FYI. Great way to start. His lawyer is behind bars.
Star's looking at the bars and say, well, someone get me out.
I mean, isn't that the whole point?
Don't use the grenade yet, Frankie.
Oh, okay.
Save
Wait
it.
until we get a verdict. I'll start just knocking on the bars and yelling, "Open up! Open up!" Try to get someone's attention.
Even though you're inside, even though you're outside of the bar?
Yeah, even though I'm outside.
Tori will just move on out of the cell because I'm pretty sure she's a ghost. So she'll just see a star and go.
Yeah,
Bounce.
Story can definitely bounce out of there very easily. Of course, the person who eventually appears is Miles Haskell, Detective Miles Haskell, because of course he did. Haskell is dressed in a bluish suit, and his hair is a lot more slicked up than he normally is. So it looks like the man. I'm not sure if he got a promotion or anything, but no, he's looking a lot. He cleaned up a lot more than he did before, and he was, he is a pretty clean-cut person to begin with, and his jaw kind of drops, and he says, "Bennet, where have you been this whole time? The entire city's been looking for you."
Well, that's a lot of people. Do you mind getting my lawyer out so we can face the music?
He eyes, the person inside of the jail cell, and he says, "Got a lot of questions, Bennet. Do you want to start by explaining how he ended up in your cell and you are out of your cell?"
Well, I was hoping you would tell me, because he's supposed to be on the outside and I'm supposed to be on the inside, and now my lawyer is in the clink and I'm not. That's just not right.
He's gonna get one of the guards to come in, and the guard's gonna come with the keys, and he's gonna unlock the door. And as soon as he locks the door, as soon as he unlocks the door and lets Star out, with his eyes, tell Sam he probably should get into his cell right now.
Yeah, I'll get in.
It's good to see you again, Haskell, and properly dressed this time.
Well, thank you, he says. Do you know where Mr. Bennet has been this whole time?
I'm aware, but Detective, I would say, based on the history that you've had with Sam and with me, I would say you should offer some leniency. It's not that Sam was running away from prison because he just didn't want to be in jail. There really is a legit reason to why my client wasn't where he needed to be for a few months. There is a legitimate, good reason. But as his representation, I would rather be in a court of law with a jury and Star will look at their hand, a judge, to go over the mens rea properly.
He sort of tilts his head when he says that. And he says, "I see. Do you happen to have, out of character, I don't know what the terminology would be, it's license or whatever it is you would prove that you're an actual certified lawyer. I don't know what the
license.
It's a license.
To
Okay.
practice, yeah.
Do you happen to have a license with you, sir?"
A license? Why on earth would I need to show proof that I am a lawyer? I'm gonna roll for Stars' voice.
Because he says, because I'm telling you, unless you are the best lawyer in the world, he says, I don't see how you're going to be able to get Bennet out of this mess.
I assure you, I am
Says
chopped.
Tori's drinking her mug. The best lawyer in the world.
I don't know how it worked in 1920s or whatnot, but you have to be licensed in the state that you practice. So
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, you know what? Is that cup around?
Of course it is.
Oh,
Of course it
Better
is.
You
get
have to
that
be
mug.
self-licensed unless you're representing yourself. Then
I
you do
know.
not need to be licensed.
that's a good point. You
Oh,
can
yeah.
represent yourself at all times.
Right. But Star's gonna low-key grab that mug and write the best lawyer. Wait, what's Star didn't even know what state they're in.
It's like best lawyer ever. or
Yeah,
something.
Star's gonna say best lawyer ever, and Star's gonna say, well, why on earth would I need to do that? I'm the best lawyer ever, and he like takes a swig. But then yes.
You'll take a swig, and then Haskell, who this entire time has just been so, you can tell he's been like holding back a bit of rage because he, in his head, okay, this guy escaped from jail. There's probably wanted posters all over. Like, his face is probably plastered all over the city. And he's acting so blasé. Like, Sam is acting so blasé about this. Yeah, whatever. For months. So Haskell is, like, headed up to here with this. Especially since he himself is sort of... You can probably presume the way that you left things, he probably was rooting for Sam to, like, not to be in jail. And now he's like, at this point, he's such an idiot. He deserves it at this point. And so, but as soon as you flash that mug at him, his complete, like, facial expression shifts. I wouldn't say change completely, but it shifts. And he says, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to question your credentials."
It happens. It's because I have a disarming face, and people sometimes, it's hard for them to take me seriously, but don't worry. It's just, and Star like pats him on the shoulder. It's just a simple mistake. And I like your suit. You look so, promotion?
Well, yes. The new commissioner decided to hire me as a member of the force.
Well, congratulations. You deserve it.
Well, thank you. He looks over at Sam again. He still looks very, like, ticked off at him. But then he looks back towards you, and he says, "I'm not holding my breath, but if anyone can get him out of this mess, maybe you might even have a slight chance."
Thank you for the vote of confidence. Now, I need to set up a court date, and I need to get to a phone so we can get Sam's proceedings in order.
If anyone does, happen to go outside, yes, you will see that Sam's face is pretty much plastered all over the place. The unfortunate thing is, all of the positive publicity he got thanks to Eddie Sullivan's article has sort of like been completely tainted, and people are questioning his credibility.
Black Powder will take one of the wanted posters and put it in his pocket.
Yes.
Frankie will approach Star and ask, "Do I have to be part of the case, or can I just sit down and like be back there like, go Star and Sam with the grenade? Because don't know if you want me to use it."
No, we're going to hold that off until the end of the trial. That's the goal. But for right now, I do need you as a character witness, because out of character on the wanted poster, does it describe, by now Star should know what Sam has been charged for, like, okay. So,
yeah.
Okay.
So now he's recently added whatever the terminology is of, like, escaping prison. Before their trial. I'm sure there's a term for that, but that's probably not a very good thing either.
No.
Just remember, Star, that I was in that house and I like went through stuff. Remember, I like busted open that file cabinet.
Right.
Or safe. I don't remember exactly. It was a big box.
Well, don't worry about that. I just need you as a witness. And all I need you to do is help me show that Sam is a good man. Because right now, the tip of everybody's tongue is, who is Sam Bennet? How is he returned? Why is he back? And where has he been for these months? And escaping prison, this is, Sam has a lot of negative things against him. So I'm just going to have to use you as a character witness. And Star is going to use his hands to color the words so Black Powder can read it.
You don't have to. I can read lips now.
Oh, right. So Star's going to look at Black Powder and say, I'm going to need your help too, because you were the ones who discovered that the commissioner was tied in with the murders with the chess pieces and the material. So I'm going to need your help for that. So I know this is going to be awkward, and then Star's going to look at Sue. Sue, I'm going to need you to be on the opposition, because I know it's you, by your very nature, you are a hero, and I know this won't be easy for you. So I need you to help the opposition with Sam's case. I know that sounds really weird and counterproductive, but it's a necessary need.
I mean, if you want me to, and you think for whatever reason that'll help, sure. Do you need me to turn into Veed, since technically Veed was around during all of this?
True. Yes, we will need him. And Star will look around. No animals here.
Oh, I'm sure if I go in one of the alleys.
No, that won't be necessary. My friends will help. And Star will go, ah, ah, ah. You'll see all these different... Wait,
yeah, all these strays, yeah. I'm assuming this is a new power ability that you bought when you leveled up. Oh, yeah, sure. So, Disney princess style, sure. All of these alley cats, strays, start, flocking over to you. And almost instantly, like, because there's so many of them, almost instantly Sue starts to just a chew. And she sneezes and turns into Veed.
Oh dear.
Star enchanted.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
Oh my god. Star will say, welcome back, my friend. And Star will say, thank you so much, my friends. Now, if you can go back to wherever you came from and not spread disease, thank you. And
the cats will look very upset because they thought, hey, I thought you were going to give us food. But yeah, I'm going to assume that you roll well for your persuade and they will leave eventually.
okay.
Some of them might linger a little bit, hoping maybe he'll still give us some food.
Just
Frankie will
stretches.
give him some grilled cheese that he brought with him.
Yes!
Frankie in the wind.
You do, and several of the cats will start, purring against your leg.
You like breaking pieces of bread and cheese.
Nice. So Frankie's made more animal friends, just like he did in Black Powder's world.
Right? Out of character. So the witnesses we can call is Eddie Sullivan, the reporter, and
Sure.
then his Susan. I
Yeah,
wanted to see if
you
I could
can.
get Susan. And I'm trying to remember who was the other person Star could call for. Am I forgetting any of your NPCs?
I mean, there's Haskell, but I don't know if you necessarily want to bring up Haskell.
Could call Haskell, technically.
There's also Belinda Screet.
I was going to say Belinda.
Belinda.
Okay.
Although we kind of killed her lover, so that may not be the best thing.
You kind of killed her lover. That's the only thing. I don't think she's happy about that. And is Stanley? I mean, the only other NPCs that you know of is Stanley, but I don't know if you want Stanley up there.
All of any of the known criminals.
I know what the sad part was. I was actually thinking that too. That's all I really was.
Oh, Frankie whispers to Star, what about the diner girlfriend?
Oh, Aaron.
Yes! Star was like, go Frankie, and like punch you in the arm lightly. I'm gonna need Aaron. So Star's gonna go back into the jail and say, Sam, what's the name of that? Was it Carrie's Diner? Barry's Diner?
Mary's Diner? What about
There.
her? Is Frankie hungry?
Always.
Right? When is he not? Star's gonna be like, I need your friend's help. The waitress there. I'm trying to build a case to show that you are a good man, Sam, and that despite everything that's mounting against you, and it's a tall order, that we could use her as a witness to help show that you are everything that you are, a man of the law, and you did your best to serve the case.
You probably don't want anybody there.
Why?
Well, don't get me wrong. I go there a lot, and there's a waitress that I know that works there. But there's, I think we've got a lot on the docket already.
Elaborate.
I think if we were to have any too many people there, you can tell that he's like not wanting to say anything. Like he's trying his best not to give you a name.
Star's gonna be like, Sam, in order for me to help you, my friend, I'm gonna need every bit of help outside of us to help you. So I know you might feel uncomfortable, but don't you trust me?
I do. So if you go in there and ask for a Betty, the name is Aaron.
Thank you, my friend. Don't worry. And Sam, if Sam will allow it, Star will touch your hand and give you a little bit of confidence, like hit you with a little bit of confidence. Star's eyes will flash yellow and say, trust in us. We'll get you out.
Who's going with you? Is it just going to be Star or other people joining you?
I'll go with.
I want to go for the food.
I love Frankie.
I'll probably just end up staying with Sam because I feel like I can go into the jail cell and out whenever I want.
Yeah,
so keep him company while we're waiting for this court date.
You can certainly do that.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get to the diner, and it's relatively nice actually, as diners go. Their menu looks pretty decent. This is probably one of the more popular places for people to go to. And the uniforms are, it's very charming, and everyone's very friendly. And what do you do once you all order or are ordering your food?
Star will look towards Black Powder, Veed and Frankie and say, guys, how do you feel about this? Do you think we can get Sam out without it resulting to any type of violence?
Well, I'm just trying to get past the menu. Can't decide if I want the full breakfast or just like a biscuit with hash browns and everything on it. Maybe I'll just order both.
Plan.
Sure.
Oh.
I think there's a good chance, Star. I think it depends on how it's spun. I mean, pointing out the obvious, obviously other than the escaping from prison, which there's no help in that. Because he did. But with the actual case, if the main issue, if they try to spin it as obstruction of justice, the fact is, justice was already obstructed because at the time the justice system was corrupted. And if you spin it like you need somebody outside the system like Sam to get things done and protect people, when the law enforcement is corrupted, then that might touch people into at least lessening the consequences.
That's true. Maybe lean on the fact that the commissioner himself was the one who was involved in the crimes, and thus it comes into question everything underneath him, which is essentially the whole police force.
And I will say, as much as I kind of like him, I think you should call Haskell.
You think I should?
He's an honest man. He is going to tell the truth, and the truth is, if it weren't for Sam, he'd be dead.
True.
He didn't listen to Sam when his own superior was corrupted. I believe he'd say the truth. He wouldn't condone his actions, I don't think. But he would be honest about what really happened.
Listen, I don't know much about law, but I do remember some stories. I remember when I was reading like a lot of poems and things like that, that Victor and the friends, they would read a lot of like law and legal stuff because that's what they were trying to fight, is the government and stuff. But I remember some people talk about like reasonable doubt. I don't know. That always came up. Don't know what that would mean here, but just something to think about.
No, that helps me out a lot. And okay, just so you guys know, my goal for Sam is to create reasonable doubt. Thank you, Frankie. And to spin it where Sam is technically, he was doing everything to the best of his ability. Now, like you said, Black Powder, the whole getting away from jail thing, that you can't get away from. But a lot of the other stuff, yes. And honestly, Haskell owes us, because you're right. If it wasn't for Sam, he would be dead. And if I or Lonick wasn't there, it would have been a sealed deal. So,
And I don't know, Haskell strikes me as the kind of person who's almost honorable to a default.
yes.
So,
okay, I'm adding this all to my list. Alrighty, Star will put down the menu and say, "I'm ready to make my order." And but Star is used to being in high class place. Garçon, send me an errand.
This woman will approach you, and she still has a coffee, like, canister in her hand. And she says, "Hello, all. My name is Aaron. How can I help you? Do I know any of you?"
No, you don't know any of us, but we do know you. And I must say, it is quite the pleasure to meet you, Aaron. Sam has spoken so highly of your capabilities as a waitress in this most fine establishment.
Sam?
Yes,
Are you talking about Sam Bennet?
absolutely.
You're friends with Sam Bennet?
Yes, and excuse me for being so rude, madam. My name is Clementis Fields, but my friends call me Amethyst.
Oh. She switches her dominant hand, like switches the coffee thing to her other hand so she can shake yours. Pleased to meet you, Mr. Fields.
Pleased to meet you too, and to know all of my lovely party members. This is Veed Sue, another friend of Sam Bennet. This is Reginald Lee, another good friend of Sam, and this is Frankie. Isn't he cute?
She'll just smile and she'll say, "Pleased to meet you." Well, Mr. Fields, I'm afraid that if you're looking for Sam Bennet, nobody's seen him for months.
Well, I'm here to inform you, my good friend. Sam Bennet is back in town, and he needs your help.
That's news to me. Everybody thought that he ran off to escape from the law.
Yes, I'm quite aware. Sam's situation is dire, and he's going to need good people like you to show proof that he really is a good man. And
But people, like me.
yes,
She sort of snorts a little bit. Sam, I know Sam very well. We must be talking of two different people, because the Sam Bennet I know would never ask for help, especially not from me.
people can change, my dear. And honestly, you might be one of his greatest assets at this time.
Well, how the tables have turned then, she says as she folds her arms. Has Sam even told you who I am?
What I do know is that you are someone special to him. He hasn't given me all the details because we are talking about Sam Bennet. But
I'm surprised he even told you that much, she says, as she sort of straightens. As she's talking, she's like straightening the salt shaker and the pepper shaker on the table.
can I be honest with you, my friend?
Why, Mr. Fields, we just met, so I'm going to have to take everything you say with a grain of salt, she says, as she taps the salt down.
I saw your hand go up, Alex.
But no, Frankie agrees with that grain of salt.
Yeah, all that salt.
Loving it. So Star will be like, I know, but may I have your hand, please?
I'm going to assume with just your natural persuasion abilities, she will think of it as a weird request at first, but then she'll just play along. Because I think you've been able to exude some level of trust with this woman, some level, and she'll go ahead and take it.
Star will take her by the hand and say, I know this seems strange and you don't know who I am, and I am a stranger to you. But I know you care for Sam. So if you would permit me, Star's eyes will shift color and his voice will change. He'll be, trust me, this won't hurt. I just need you to trust me. And so what he's doing is drudging up the feelings, the good feelings she has towards Sam, whatever conversations, whatever good moments they had, laughs, or, you know, her feeding him, you know, that he's pulling those feelings forward.
So you're able to empathically roll your empathic roll.
Okay.
Let's see how well you do.
Fingers crossed,
I'm
kids.
curious.
Okay. Ooh, yes.
So you definitely get this feeling that Aaron does care about Sam very deeply. It's very hard for you to tell if this is a deep friendship kind of caring, if this is a romantic kind of caring, or if it's simply a familial, like she could very well be his sister or cousin or something along those lines. It's hard for you to tell, but certainly you sense that she does have this connection with him. You sense they have quite a bit of history, and again, not knowing if this is a familial thing or not, but at least as early as high school, at least her history as early as high school. So she's known him for a while.
Wait, so she is salty and sour?
Sour?
Yes.
Maybe she needs a little sweet.
That's true. Maybe.
A little bit of sweet talker.
Yeah. And I think the only thing else I will say is that in the recent months, because of everything that's been going on that's like crazy with him, I think there's a feeling of she's torn, because I think she wants to hate him for a few things, and now that he's gone, or at least she presumably thought he was gone and never coming back, she's deciding maybe it's just not worth like worrying about him, and I'm just going to move on with my life at this point. So I guess that's the feeling you're getting now.
So Star is gonna say, I know that there's history there with Sam, and I know you might feel abandoned and a little sour about it, and I can tell you firsthand, I know all about sourness, but again, this is about another person you have history with. If the shoe was on the other foot, would you really believe Sam Bennet would truly abandon you, leave you? It may not be easy, but consider it.
I don't think she would necessarily abandon me, but if he thought it was for my own good, he would definitely leave. He's done that before. He has a tendency to decide things for himself that involves other people without necessarily consulting them as much.
Star's gonna be like, and better yet, everybody should say, yes, we have witnessed that firsthand.
But what do you expect from men, really? My apologies. No offense.
None taken, my dear. So listen, Star will somehow have a card in his inner jacket pocket that will be, it'll be written in like bright colorful words, Star at Law. And Star will say, here, take my card, and when I call upon you, or rather, may I call upon you to assist in Sam's trial as a character witness?
You really think he has a chance to get out of this mess?
I do.
Well, if you truly feel that way, Mr. Fields, if Sam were here, he would want me to say no. Because I know he doesn't like it when I get my hands dirty. That's probably why he never wanted to involve me in things in the past. So, if Sam wants me to be there, I will be there. But just be prepared for him to say no.
Sam isn't here, and he needs you. So that should trump any objections he has.
Have you told that to him to his face?
I'm his lawyer. It doesn't matter. I'm here to help him.
Oh, sweetie, she says. Sweetie. And she sort of like gives him a pat like this.
But Sam told us to find you. He gave us your name.
She looks surprised by this. Really? Sam told you to find me?
Well, not in those words. But we asked the question of what your name was, and he gave us your name.
And you're telling me that he didn't have any resistance initially, that you didn't have to twist his arm?
Oh, we had to twist a lot of things.
Uh-huh.
I love it.
Sam is still very much Sam, but I do think he's a wee bit more open to asking for help now, even if he's a bit begrudging about it. He does it.
Well, all right, Mr. Fields. I'll agree to being a witness. I'm not sure if I can help that much, but if you need to know anything about Sam from way back when, I have known him since high school.
Oh.
Lovely. So, now I'm hungry. What say you all?
Yeah, I want the whole menu.
What do you recommend? Veed says. I would say the waffles. The waffles here are quite good.
Yeah.
Sure.
I will take that, Veed says. Sure thing, hun. If you excuse me, all, she says, Mr. Fields, I need to go and attend to the rest of my tables.
Thank you, Miss Aaron.
And, do me a favor. When you see Sam again, tell him that, he owes me a bunch of tips.
Will do.
And, she will leave. They've known each other since high school. What do you think exactly that means? Veed says.
Apparently they knew each other as children. But Star's like scribbling these notes down like furiously.
So most likely, she's not like a sister or anything. Most likely.
No.
Sounds like they're long-term friends.
Are you gonna ask her anything before the trial? Like find out anything from her about him before the trial, or are you just gonna throw her in there?
Oh no, she needs to be properly prepared. I was reading in, and Star whips out a book, that the witness must be prepared before going on the stand. It's also to help manipulate the jurors. And Star puts the book back.
I love how the court system here is basically one big con.
Yeah, I don't like the way that we use the term manipulate. It just seems a little sus. Veed says as he sips some of his.
So we left the diner, heading back to the prison. Okay. So Sam is gonna go to Star's gonna go to Sam and say, I had a fancy conversation with your friend Erin. She says you owe her quite a bit of tips.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't hurt to get some tips. I've got it. I just next time I'm at the diner, I've put something aside for it.
And another thing, Sam, when this is over, you really should talk to her. She's her feelings are complicated, but I can tell she cares about you a great deal. I know you two have history, and I think you owe her maybe an apology or two as well.
I can apologize. Yeah. When I pay the tip, I will apologize.
How are you holding up?
Oh, I'm good. I'm just ready to get it all over with.
Well, I'm gonna talk to Haskell. Howard Tori, how you doing?
She comes out of the wall. I'm good. What's up?
No, I may need your services in the future. So just sit tight. But you've been chilling in the walls?
Oh yeah. Talking to Sam, but try not to freak anybody out, any of the guards or other inmates. So yeah.
Have you made any new friends?
No, I haven't met any other demons or spirits in Sam's world.
No, I was just saying the other inmates. Have they heard it?
No, they're no good. They're no good, Frankie. They're a bunch of hooligans. She doesn't need to make friends around here.
Okay.
Might learn a thing or two from them, though. But Star, if you need me for anything, just let me know. I seem to be very useful in Sam's world, so
yes. I'll need you to ear hustle for me.
Okay.
Yeah. So while I'm talking to Haskell, maybe you could listen in on the conversation or find some clues, something that we could use as surprise evidence. I read in the book that can also be a big boon to our success.
Or you can just spy on the prosecutor and see what their angle is.
I like you, Frankie.
I try. It's a military thing, tactical. You always want to know what your enemy's plan is.
Spy. I can do that. I can go invisible. And I will go do that while you talk to... Who are you talking to, Haskell?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and roll me investigation.
Okay.
And you can turn invisible now, yes?
Yes.
Then, okay, cool. You don't have to do a stealth.
I was gonna say I'll give her some pointers too if that'll give her advantage.
Ooh, for like a investigation? Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll definitely take some pointers from Sam.
That's fine.
12 out of 12.
Yeah, it's not good. So, he's going to be charged with a number of things in addition to, tampering with evidence, but whatever I told you, whatever is the term for, it's not resisting arrest, it's like escaping from prison prior to his
LME flight, something like that.
Something along those lines. And again, just for the purpose of the story, he could easily be looking to up to 20 years in jail. Easily. It's possible that they could reduce it down. It could be reduced down to a fine. Having him go completely scot-free would be nigh impossible. But you're feeling like realistically the best Star could probably do is a fine of some sort, and then maybe like a few months in prison, maybe. As for you, Star, so you're going to go ahead and find Haskell, and you'll easily find his office now. So he's basically, instead of a private investigator, he is a police investigator, or whatever the terminology, the title is for that. But he is especially under the employment of the station now. And so you'll easily find him there. Mr. Fields! I figured I would see you again.
I know. But may we talk in private?
Have a seat.
Star will walk in and, sit all elegant and unbutton his jacket, cross his legs, and flip his short hair. And say, look, I know you and Sam have history. And I know that Some of it's good, some of it's bad. But you know, as well as I know, Sam Bennet is a good man.
I thought he was. From the last time I saw you, I actually had a decent amount of respect restored for him. I know that he has not particularly had that much respect for the law, but I didn't think he would stoop so low as to escaping from prison. Normally, he would at least take full responsibility of his actions. This is very unlike him.
Well, Sam's life has been on an emotional roller coaster. Let's say world hopping, if you will, if you would allow such a thing to be stated. Sam wouldn't just willingly run away from prison. That's not like him. As you said, he would take responsibility for his actions. But the circumstances were, him leaving was kind of out of his control. It's almost like even if he wanted to stay, he really couldn't.
So are you telling me that he tripped and fell and accidentally took the keys off of the guard's waist, and then tripped and fell again and accidentally unlocked the door in front of him?
I wouldn't say that, but what I would say is that Sam's situation is very different. Detective Haskell, I want you to think clearly. I know you're a man of the law and you follow it to the letter. But there are things in this world, and Star puts the pencil and note down on the table, that don't always make sense. And I trust you because a good friend of mine said you're an honorable man. So what I'm about to share with you may shock you, but I promise you, I won't hurt you. And Star's hand will glow with magic and say, there are creatures in this world that don't make sense. I am not an ordinary person. And Star will stand up and they'll split into 5 and say, our name is Star, and we want you to help Sam in his case.
As soon as you split, by the way, he will physically, sit back and then stand up from his chair, rise up from his chair, from the sudden shock of it. And he just has this look of disbelief and confusion, and, he sort of blinks his eyes, and he just kind of tries to slap himself awake, and his eyes are blinking, and he does not seem to be able to process all of this right now. It's not making any sense to him. You can tell.
Sorry for the fright. And it'll be Amethyst speaking. Sorry for the fright, mate. That was not our intention. Our intention is to tell you Sam is really innocent. He did not escape prison. Sam has been helping us on a very interesting journey, and him leaving was not by his choice. He somewhat had to go, if that makes any sense to you. And we're here to clear him of most of his charges. Escaping prison, I know, is a harder one for the court system to swallow. But most of everything else, if we can prove his innocence, that he's not obstructing of justice in all the crimes he's being charged for. But in order for that to happen, you need to know the truth about us, and we need your help.
He pauses for a moment. He doesn't respond right away. He goes over to, I guess, the side of his desk, pulls out a water bottle. He takes a few drinks from his water bottle. And then he just kind of looks at the 5 of you. And he says, can you go back to being one? Can you do that? He says.
And they all creepily say, sure, at the same time. And they step back into each other.
I've seen a lot of strange things in my life. That's definitely a first for me. I have a lot of questions, obviously. No, none of the things that you said makes any sense. But I'm good at sussing out liars, and I could at least, despite the thing that you just did, I can sense at least that there's a bit of truth in what you're saying. But if you're going to ask me to stand in court and tell the judge that I don't believe that Sam obstructed justice or did not tamper with evidence, that I am not going to do.
It's not that I need you to do that. I just need you to show proof that Sam is a good person. We all have flaws, and I do believe you two served time in the military together.
We did.
So if you would allow me, detective, and Star will hold out their hand and say, "May I have your hand? There's something I want to help you remember."
Roll. You're gonna have to roll out of character persuasion.
I know. Oh Lord, here we go.